It's Sunday evening, and I'm your host, Sanet van Breda from Johannesburg, South Africa. We've got an amazing show today. It is going to blow your socks off. And I know it's a heavy subject because forgiveness is not easy. Forgiveness is difficult. But just think about it. Forgiveness is for the forgiver. And if you can set yourself free by forgiving somebody else, how much love and joy and happiness can be bestowed on you if you just let go, let God. But the big thing of all of them is to forgive yourself. For me, I forgave myself. I was all my years overweight. I'm going to quickly show you. And the day I decided, Sanet, I am going to forgive you for not sticking to your plans, for not losing the weight, for picking up so much weight. The weight started to go even down more. So self-forgiveness is a big thing. So we can all talk about it today. I've got 3 amazing guests, and they're going to just inspire you. So first of all, just to bring you in this power hour, this amazing power hour, I would ask you to do 3 deep breaths with me. You can close your eyes or leave it open, but take it in. Another breath in. Last one in. And on your list of forgiveness, if there's somebody that you need to forgive, write a letter. Tell exactly how you feel. And at the end, say that person's name and say, I forgive you. And when it comes to your forgiveness letter, write all the things that you want to forgive yourself, all the stuff. Get it out of your system. Write it down. And at the end of the letter, write, I love you so much that I forgive you. And then, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, you are so welcome to visit my website, selfloveforme.com. Come and talk to me. I will listen to you. I will help you with an amazing process to forgive and to start living. Are you ready? Come on over. Come on over. I've got ears to listen. So, our guest is coming up just now. I want to thank E360 TV for this amazing platform, for giving me the opportunity to stand. Yes, and I'm standing today. I'm not sitting. To stand in front of you today to present my amazing guest to you. So if you can give me a second, I am going to bring up E360 TV's video. Are you ready? Wow, amazing, amazing. I love that video. I love it when those stars is going to the top of the floor. Oh, well, I want to say Empire State Building because that was my bucket list and I visited there. So my beautiful guest, Candice, is all the way from South Africa. And then I've got Sarah and Cliff from the USA. So, welcome, my beautiful Candice. Welcome, beautiful Sarah and Cliff, to our session. So, I'm going to ask Candice first to tell us a small snippet of her story, and then also tell us what does forgiveness mean for her. So, Candice, if I can give it to you.
Hi, good evening, and thank you again, Sanet, for having me as a guest speaker on your fantastic show. I'm so stoked to be a part of the E360 TV show and talking about one fantastic topic, forgiveness. I am a momtrepreneur and I have known Sanet for quite some time now, and I'm really amazed at what she has been bringing forward to a lot of people to change the way that they look at their lives and how they live their lives, be inspiration. I really value people's opportunity in wanting to grow, and I'm here tonight to talk about my short story on why forgiveness is so important. Um, Forgiveness for me was extremely hard journey to take. It was something, it's a very hard pill to swallow, to be honest. I had a journey of addiction in my life where I had then been in rehabilitation for 3 years in the middle of the Limpopo. And one of the things that we had to face was actually forgiveness. Forgiveness for me was very difficult because I had blamed everybody else for my situation instead of looking at the situation that I was in and actually evaluating how the situation and circumstances was actually of my own. That is where forgiveness came in. And forgiveness for me was ideally the key aspect of knowing where I can break free from getting that chip off my shoulder so that I can actually breathe again. And the time that I did that, I had to look at my situation, realize the circumstances, and really break the barrier of knowing that I had to first, like you said earlier, forgive myself in order to forgive the rest of the people that I felt had harmed or done any damage in the way that I lived my life. And I've forgiven everybody in my past and everybody that I had in my life. And once that had happened, it made a dramatic change in the way I live my life and the way that it has been implemented in the way that I make decisions in life. But I will talk a little bit, obviously, more about a situation I had found myself in recently where forgiveness was mostly the key in order for me to move forward from the situation.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Candice. And I just want to say, me and Candice is in South Africa, and we both on battery power because we both have load shedding. So in South Africa, we don't have enough power for everyone. So we do have share this place have power, then some other places don't have. So both of us are on battery power. So if we do go off, I have asked our fireman Cliff to start talking if we are stuck in the moment. Candice, I just hope our mouth is closed when we are stuck. Thank you, Candice. We can hear a little bit more from you. Sarah, if I can ask you as well, all over to you.
Thank you so much, Senate, for inviting me to this beautiful, wonderful show, 365. It's my honor to be here with you. And briefly about my story, I grew up in Cambodia. And when I was in college, my country gone through a very difficult time that when the communist Khmer took over our country. They came in the military takeover. They invade our country. They punish all of us, all the people in Cambodia. They took us prisoner. So they pushed us to a work camp. I was sent to a very dark work camp that I was watched 24/7 with armed guard. And they pushed us to work extremely hard, 16 hours a day in the intense sun in the rice field. And they give us very little food to eat and very little time to sleep and no time to rest. We work 7 days a week. So with that condition, I become very sick with, I contracted several disease. And when I got too sick to work, they sent me to a infirmary. It's pretty much like a death camp, waiting for time to die. With hope, with my love in my heart that I was yearning to go to find my family, I struggle. I try to survive so that I can go back and help out my family. So that's what helped me. That what saved my life. So eventually, at the end, I was able to escape out of captivity. I was able to find my family. And yeah, I found my family after 4 long years when we did not hear anybody from each side. We didn't know what happened. And thank goodness my family are safe. And I was so grateful that I found them. And I was so much out of shape. I lost all the weight I can possibly lose. You don't want to
Wow,
see me.
incredible about your story.
Yeah, um, so I lost all my weight. I only have skin and bone. But my parents nurtured me back to good health again. After 1 whole year, I was able to recover my health.
Wow.
So that's that's a quick story of myself. And when I escaped out of Cambodia and come to United States, when people met me the first time, they asked me, "What is your background?" And the first thing I told them that I didn't want to go through the whole wartime in the prison and all that. I just told them that, well, my life had been interrupted for 7 to 8 years. So that's what the total time that I lost during those time. Almost 8 years of my life was gone. And I used to feel disappointed about the time that I lost. I could have been more advanced. I could be graduating from college and could do much more, so on and so forth. So that's my bitterness. However, I found my way to forgive. So if you want to talk about that later, I can come back and talk about that later. Or
Wow, Sarah. Sarah, your story is amazing. And when I heard it the first time, it was like amazing. And when I had planned this forgiveness show already last year, I knew that you are going to be here. Remember, I told you you need to be here, you and Lee, but Lee could not be here. So I was so happy that Candice came to inspire us. Thank you, Sarah. So, Cliff, I am going to ask the same question for you, a little story of your life. And what does forgiveness mean to you?
I'm not really sure. The story of my life is very little. I've made a lot of bad decisions in my life. And excuse my voice, everybody. I'm recovering from COVID right now. But a lot like Candace, both very powerful stories. I appreciate both of you sharing your stories with us. My story kind of parallels Candace's. I was everything from a firefighter to a paramedic to a corrections officer, youth corrections officer. But back when I was in the fire service, I was destroying my own life. Basically, I was addicted to alcohol, and I was a very, very, very heavy drinker. And I spent 19 years of my adult life trying to save other people, but I wasn't able to save myself until everything finally came to a roller coaster ride into rock bottom within a 3-week period, me being in and out of hotels. Basically, in a 3-week period, I became a living version of Nicolas Cage from the movie Leaving Las Vegas. And if you've never seen that movie, Nicolas Cage basically gets fired from his job for drinking, moves to Las Vegas, meets Elizabeth Shue, who plays a prostitute, and slowly drinks himself to death in hotel rooms. Minus getting fired from my job and minus Elizabeth Shue, that was me. I was in 3 different hotels. I was in and out of the hospital 4 separate times. I was in detox 3 times. And after that last time in detox, I ended up at my mother's house, sitting in an old, squeaky, wooden antique chair at an old wooden desk with a laptop in front of me, trying to log on to my work email to see how much trouble I'd been in because I'd missed 3 weeks of work at the fire service. I knew I was in a lot of trouble. I couldn't log into my email, and my life was just going way out of control. And in the very short time that my mom had left to go get me some food, they brought me there to try to save my life, to keep me out of hotel rooms and to try to save my life. And once she got me to her house, she left for like 10 minutes. And in that short time, I transferred the last $10 out of me and my wife's savings account to our checking account, walked down the street to the liquor store, bought a bottle of blueberry vodka, brought it back with me, and I now had that sitting on that old wooden desk right beside me. I couldn't log into my work email. I took a deep breath because I knew what was coming next. I looked at that bottle for a second. I popped that cap, and I took 3 massive swigs right out of that bottle. Something snapped in me. When I took those 3 massive swigs out of that bottle, something snapped. I knew in that moment that I was either going to die drinking myself to death or I was going to quit. Obviously, since I'm standing here today, I quit. I called my mom. I told her what I'd done. I said, I can't do this anymore. I do not want to live like this anymore. And I finally went and I got the help that I needed. But there was still a huge, long journey on my way to freedom, because that's what forgiveness means to me, is freedom. And just like Candace was saying, I had to learn how to forgive myself. And I truly believe that all kinds of forgiveness, whether you're forgiving somebody else or you're forgiving yourself for something that you've done to yourself or to other people that you love dearly, it all boils down to self-forgiveness. Because once I finished all the treatment, the 30-day treatment that I had to go to, I could have been like, okay, cool. Everything's all nice, sunshine and rainbows now, and I can move forward with my life and I can carry on and I don't need to worry about any of this other stuff. But I still had a lot of hurt and turmoil that I'd caused along the way, a huge, huge wake of hurt and turmoil. And I needed forgiveness from my family, from my wife, from my kids. I needed forgiveness for my job that I had just let down tremendously. But I had to forgive myself first, because they could give me all the forgiveness they wanted in the world. But if I couldn't look inside and I couldn't forgive myself, then I'd still be trapped in that mindset. And I love what Nelson Mandela said when he was finally released after being in prison for over 27 years. He said, as I walked out that door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave the hate and bitterness behind me, that I'd still be in prison. If I just went through the treatment and I didn't let go of all the stuff that got me there, if I didn't learn how to forgive all the people I thought had done me wrong and learn how to forgive myself, then I'd still be in prison. So forgiveness for me simply means freedom.
Wow. Wow, Cliff, I have goosebumps. All of your stories is so, and there's a lot of people out there that is going through stories of their own. And I hope by listening today, they can find a little bit of peace and a little bit of, if they can do it, then I can do it. So if I then can go back to Candace, thank you so much, Cliff. How did forgiveness change the way your life is now? And you said you've got a story for us to tell us a story. Candace?
Yes. So about a week or so ago, we relocated to a fantastic little place here in South Africa called George, and it's been fantastic. We went on an evening where we went for our anniversary dinner. My husband, myself, and my son. And it was a nice, fantastic restaurant. The meal was great, and we couldn't catch a Bolt, and we didn't stay too far from the restaurant itself, and then we got mugged. And it was so shocking because my son was standing there watching the whole situation, and I felt so helpless. I felt so bad. I felt like, it was one night out of all the nights that we ever decided to really like go out and have a nice dinner, and it was very traumatic for me because I couldn't get to my son. And I've been in situations where I've had a gun held to my head, and I turned to drugs. I had I've had a knife held to my neck for a cell phone, and I've turned to drugs. I've seen my aunt have an axe to her neck in her own house where we were staying, and I turned to drugs. This time, the situation is a bit different. I've got a family, and now I have to deal with it in a different sense, in a different way, in a different, have a different mental space. It took me about a week to get over the fact that, I was just dead on the street. I was also in a situation like that. And I tried to play in my head what was going through these people's minds at the time. So I had to really think, what would I have done in that situation if it was the tables that were turned, I also, thought when I was on the street, I never attacked anybody. I never went out and looked for it, but I know people get to that point because of the way that their situation is, and they don't care who it is or what the circumstances or what the end game might be if they had to be arrested or taken to prison for the things that they've done. And a lot of people said, oh, you must go to the cops, or oh, you must do this. And I quite honestly felt like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to find in myself to forgive these people for what they've done. Even if the other day we literally walked in front of them and they didn't even recognize us. And I just found it in my heart to just forgive them and move on. It was a traumatic event for me because, yes, in the past I was able to deal with it maybe in the wrong way, but now I have a better way to deal with it, and I've implemented this strategic way of using the power of forgiveness to have my mentality be stronger and being able to cope with it. Yes, it's not going to go away. Nothing like that will ever go away. It will always be in the back of your mind. You'll always try and evaluate the situation and see how you could make it have been better or change the situation to make it, you play it in your head over and over. It will never go away. But forgiveness helps you get over it. Forgiveness helps you get through that situation and be able to cope with it mentally, emotionally. And that's the story I just wanted to share, because there were lots of circumstances had been in my life where I turned to the wrong kind of way to deal with it. And now, because I'm maybe older and because I have a family to think of, and I know that forgiveness is so key to finding the foundation of breaking free from something that's going to hold you back from living your life. So I'm getting a little bit emotional, but forgiveness is a very powerful tool. And without it in your life, you'll never be able to move forward. You'll never be able to actually take life on and go through every kind of turmoil that comes your way. So that's what I wanted to share on that note.
Wow, thank you, Candice. I'm truly sorry that have happened to you. But you have displayed how amazing your mindset and your self-love for yourself is. Because like you said previously, it was easy to do other stuff. But this time with especially, and your little boy is beautiful, you have that mindset to do the forgiveness. So that's amazing. I have goosebumps all over. Thank you so much for telling. And I know that was very brave of you to share your story. And it didn't happen a long time ago. It just happened, you said 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Two
Yeah.
weeks ago. So I'm truly sorry that happened. So I do see we have 5 viewers that is viewing. There is no comments coming through. So if you can just write some comments for us, then we can see if you can see us and hear us. Thank you so much. Sarah, if I can ask you the same question, how did forgiveness change the way you are living now? Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sanet. Forgiveness changed my way of thinking, helped me to be free, to look at the situation in a positive way, to find something that is more powerful than the disappointment, than the bitterness, than the loss. Yes, before I was thinking about all the time that I lost, that I could not recoup the time that lost. But I I look at that same situation from a different point of view, from a different perspective, because during those hard hardship for 4 years in the captivity, I was dreaming about returning home to my family. That's my goal. That's my purpose. How I make it through that time when there was about 2 million people did not make it. But I did because the power of my love for my family. So eventually, when I found my family, I was so happy that for 4 years I had this yearning, and now I found them and they are safe. So I forgot all about the hardship that I gone through the last 4 years. So I was focusing on the enjoyment, the love, and the kindness, the compassion, all that wonderful positive feeling that I experienced. So at that time, I did not think about forgive or not forgive. I was focusing on my reunion with my family. But when I came to United States, when people ask me about my background and I share about the time that I lost and I feel like a little bit of bitterness, disappointment. But now, for this many, many years later, I look at the same situation. I have forgiven. I have forgiven the people that did so much wrong to our whole country and to myself. And I look at this way that I am grateful that I'm still alive. I'm grateful that I still have my family. I'm grateful that for whatever reason God brought me to the beautiful country of United States. So looking at the gratitude, at the blessing that I received, even though the hardship was almost unbearable, but it's already gone. There's nothing I can do about it. Let forget and let God deal with that. Whoever did us wrong, I leave it, give it to God to handle, to to do whatever He want to do. I don't need to take on that job to revenge. It's not my place. So I let go. I let go of that negative feeling from my life so I can live freely. Now I use that a lot of lesson that I learned from that hardship, the mental, the mindset, the emotion, the perspective from that. I use it as the life lesson that I can share with other people who are going through the very difficult time. They may not go through the killing fields of Cambodia, but they live through a lot of difficulty in their life right now. A lot of them lose their job, lose their business, lose their loved one. There's so many problems in this world. I feel like I can relate to their loss and I can support them.
Wow. Sarah, amazing. I know also that you have written a book. I don't know if you have the book there to show us. And
I do
please
have
tell, please tell us.
How I Survived the Killing Fields, a story of hope, love, and determination. And that is my story of hope, love, and determination. But when you have all that, you can survive anything with hope, with love, with determination. It helps you to get through a very challenging time, a trauma or adversity.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. When time permits, I will come back to you to ask you, what are you doing to help other people? How can people come to you? So I'm going to go to Cliff now. Cliff, I'm going to also ask the same question. How did forgiveness change your life forever?
Well, forgiveness changed my life because it allowed me to be free. It allowed me to let go, like everybody's already said before. And Sanet knows that I absolutely love quotes, so I do a lot of quotes and stuff like that. But one of the best ways I've ever heard it put was Lily Tomlin said, "Forgiveness is giving up any hope for a better past." Everything that I had already done through the story I just told you, from all my drinking, things, the work I missed at the fire department, all the people I had hurt, all the damage I'd done, I couldn't undo any of that. It was done. But I had to learn how to forgive myself and forgive the people that I thought had done me wrong in my life in order to free myself so that I could move forward. But a lot of us get stuck in that past. We get stuck in trying to wish and hope that the past could be better so that our lives right now could be better, not realizing that once we forgive ourselves or forgive other people for the way they've hurt us or we've hurt ourselves, then that's what frees us and allows us to start moving forward in our lives. And through forgiveness, through finding forgiveness for myself and for the other people that I thought had hurt me in my life, that allowed me to free myself from that past that I couldn't change and allowed me to start moving forward. That job I told you I had at the fire department, that was a 19-year career that I had. I loved that job. But I had to do the right thing. I had missed a lot of work. I had let a lot of people down, and I had a lot of bridges to rebuild and a lot of work to do, which I knew I could do. I knew I could become the man they wanted me to be. I knew I could put the pieces back together and become stronger and better than I ever was before. But the problem is, in a job like that, the people by your side, my brothers, my sisters, don't need someone that can eventually be there to help them and that they can trust their lives with. They need someone that could do that for them now. So once I forgave myself for everything that I had, all the hurt and pain and destruction that I had caused because of my drinking, I was able to turn inwards and do some real soul searching and say, you know what, I need to do the right thing here. So out of love and respect for that department that I'd spent 19 years with, I went in and I resigned my position so that they could fill it with somebody that could give them what they needed right now. Only through forgiveness was I able to do that. Was I able to let go of all the hurt, all the pain, and all the destruction, and to realize that that was something I needed to do. As much as I didn't want to do it, it's what was necessary and what needed to be done. And that allowed me to start moving forward in my life. And I haven't looked back since. I've taken all of the lessons that I learned from all that tragedy, all the hardship, all the difficulties that I've been through, not just with drinking, but I've been through all kinds of different hardships, difficulties, and challenges in my life, including amputating half of my thumb about 2 years ago. But I've taken all that, I've taken the lessons from it and moved forward, and am now using that to help teach other people how to get through those difficulties and hardships and challenges in their life with a good mindset, a strong mindset, a positive attitude, and resiliency and fortitude, because that's how I got through all that stuff. I learned a great deal from all that. And I tell people all the time, my wife included, I'm like, you know what, even though that was the deepest, darkest, hardest, most devastating time in my entire life, if I had to go back, I wouldn't change a single second of it, because all that I went through made me who I am today. And I absolutely love who I am today. And I wouldn't go back and change any of it. Well, without forgiveness, none of it would have been possible. I'd still be stuck in the mindset of the victim, to be honest with you. It'd be like, they did this to me. My life is unfair. The world's against me. Why does this happen to me? Bad things always happen to me. But when you start taking personal accountability for where you're at in your life and say, you know what, maybe I've caused some of this. And in order to move past that, maybe I need to forgive myself and realize that I'm the only one holding myself back because I'm refusing to let go.
Sure, Cliff, that's amazing. I actually have written a quote, so let me just bring it up. Forgiveness is a heavenly gift that will set you free as the forgiver, to be free to love unconditionally, not only yourself but others. So, if I can
Beautiful,
come, oh, thank you so much,
beautiful
Cliff.
quote. And actually, Candace, you made me think of another one from I just spaced out his name. I'm sorry, my brain is so foggy right now. Come on, Sanet, help me out. Who was he? The first quote I did.
Oh, Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela. He said, "Forgiveness liberates the soul and removes fear, and that is why it's such a powerful weapon." And you said that about how forgiveness is so powerful.
Yes.
It is. It's a powerful weapon to cut your ties from the past, give up hope for a better past, move forward, let go, and keep moving forward. Because the other good quote, and I know I got to get going here, is from Buddha. It says, holding on to anger is like drinking poison, hoping the other person's going to die. Most of us have heard that one. But the thing is, when you're the one holding on to that hate and that anger, that other person's moved on. They have no idea that you're drinking that poison. It's having absolutely zero effect on them. But we keep drinking it sip by sip by sip, hurting ourselves while they're moving on.
And sometimes they don't even know what I did wrong
Mm-hmm.
because they moved on. It was not, did it not affect them because they would have asked for forgiveness if it really affected them.
And then
So,
years later, when you're dying inside from holding on to that and sipping that poison, you're like, why was I mad at them in the first place?
Exactly. 100%
exactly.
agree.
So I would just want to mention quickly, we've got Melanie all the way from Brussels. She said, empowering stories. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Melanie, for being here. And then beautiful Giovanna. Let me just bring up her as well. It's a slow it doesn't want to go off now.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, it's me. Cliff, it's me. It's me. It's my internet. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's my internet. And then Giovanna, all the way from America, says forgiveness is intentional when we say let go. How beautiful. So, Candice, um, you said you're a mom entrepreneur. Is there any
Yes.
in your day-to-day work that you bring in forgiveness for your clients, or if you can just let me know?
Well, in the work that I do, forgiveness is kind of key when you maybe sometimes when you're doing certain tasks for a certain client and they get a bit abrupt. But otherwise, alternatively, I do implement forgiveness in a lot of my maybe I don't like confrontation. So for me, for confrontation, I have to forgive the person if I know that they're wrong, but I have to suck it up and just be like, it's cool, it's good, everything's good. I just forgive you. I know maybe they're having a tough day. So for me, dealing with people, I rather deal with them in a calm manner. I do understand we're all human, so sometimes we make our daily life situations kind of reflect onto other people when we don't intend to have it reflect on other people. So I just see it as you have to forgive the person and move on. Forgiveness for me has even learning the lesson of how to implement forgiveness into your life strategies and strategically putting it into place with working with people has been kind of key when in any relationship I've built going along in business or else in personal aspects. So yes, it's been kind of key aspect for me.
Thank you. And do you have a golden nugget for us, please?
Golden nugget. Forgiveness is something to get that chip off your shoulder so that you can actually move forward with your life instead of staying stagnant and being held back by something that somebody else doesn't even like Cliff was said, doesn't even realize that they know or they know that they've done any wrong, but they've moved on with their lives and you're still stuck in holding a grudge. Forgive those people and move on with your life. That's what I can give to the world out there.
Oh, thank you, Candice. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for telling us your story. You are amazing in my eyes. In my eyes. Sarah, you mentioned that you're also working with your clients to help them with their forgiveness. Can you also tell us a little bit more about that? And also, at the end, can you give us your golden nugget, please, Sarah?
Thank you, Janet. Yes, I when I work with clients, most of my clients are in the audience. I share my story. I share the life lesson that I learned. I give a lot of tips for them to move on with their life. A lot of tips on building resiliency, building confidence, building courage, all that inspiration that I give to my people in my audience. So I I believe that they take it too hard because I share my story, because I I believe that my survival come from all those nuggets that I share with them. I believe that with my resiliency, that's why I can survive, because people need to build up their resilience. Resilience is that critical, because in this life we will expect problem. Problem will come, pain will come, inevitable, but you don't have to suffer. You can choose not to suffer. Even the pain come, you can let go. And how do I help them to look at the at forgiveness? I believe that well, you would agree with me that everybody make mistake. Everybody is not perfect. So myself is not perfect. So why do I expect everybody else to be perfect? So if they are not perfect, we are not perfect. We need to forgive us. We need to forgive other people. So that's my concept of forgiveness. Just look at each one of us is a human being. We are not perfect. So let's forget about expect the perfect person in front of us to do everything perfect. Just learn to forgive each other.
Wow, amazing. And I know that you and Lee also have a podcast that you are also inviting guests to. And I was also invited last year. And the two of you were so amazing. And we chatted and we went all over time. And then we realized, you, our time was a long time over. So thank you so much for inviting me to your amazing podcast. So please, ladies, follow and gentlemen, follow Sarah and Candice and Cliff on their social media, and go and see what Sarah and Lee is doing on their podcast. And I know, Cliff, you have a beautiful YouTube channel. And I actually love some of your videos very much. So please tell us what you do for your clients. And then if you can give us your golden nugget as well. Thank you.
Well, what I do for my clients basically is just to reiterate the fact that when they're failing to forgive, or when they refuse to forgive, they're holding on to. We've all seen people do this. They hold on to a grudge like it's a badge of honor, like it's something that they should be proud of. Like we've all heard people say, like, "Oh, I can hold a grudge," like it's something they're proud of. But they don't realize that when they hold on to that grudge, they're doing exactly what I was talking about a minute ago. They're sipping that poison. They're hurting themselves. They're slowly tearing themselves apart from the inside, with no effect on the other person. And a lot of people don't realize that by not forgiving, by refusing to forgive, by holding on to that grudge, they're accepting the fact that they will slowly be tearing themselves apart from the inside. But to them, that's still better than forgiving somebody for something they did and moving forward and having a fulfilling life. And when you put it to somebody like that, that kind of is a little bit of a slap upside the face, being like, yeah, I'm kind of doing this to myself. So maybe I do need to look at this. And forgiveness isn't some massive, huge, it's not always some massive, huge forgiveness that you're doing. Like when people forgive other people that killed their loved ones or their family and they're now in prison. And you hear stories like that. There's things on Netflix about that, which I think is just amazing. But some people think they're crazy. Like, I can't believe you forgave them. Well, it's not their journey. It's not their freedom that they're after. They're doing it for themselves. Forgiveness is a selfish act. And this is one of the times where it is okay to be selfish. It's okay to work on yourself. It's okay to focus on yourself. And it's okay to say, yes, I'm worth it. I'm worth forgiving this person, whether it improves their life or not. I'm doing it so I don't have to hold on to the hatred, the bitterness, the anger, the resentment anymore. So I can free myself. So I can let go of all those negative emotions, so I can make room for more positive ones in my life. So I work with them on that. I get them to think through it. You know, it's really easy just to tell somebody, well, just forgive them, move on with your life, let go. It's easy. But if they don't understand exactly why they're doing it and the benefits to themselves, then it's just words. And forgiveness is way more than just words. It's way more than just saying, I forgive you. It's not put out there just to make somebody else feel better or to, spread happiness and butterflies and everything throughout the world. I love butterflies, by the way. It has to start with the mind. Once the mind realizes that forgiveness is necessary for your own good, for your own freedom, not for the other person, but for you. And then it moves to your heart and your soul. When forgiveness can come from a very pure place, then you can find that freedom. But if you're simply forgiving just to try to make somebody else feel better, it's not going to have the same effect. Because like I said, it's all self-forgiveness. You have to learn how to forgive yourself. You have to accept forgiveness. You have to believe in the forgiveness that you're offering to other people and realize that it is a selfish act and it's ultimately for you. My little golden nugget I'd like to leave everybody with is, hopefully you heard my story earlier, but think about it this way. Someday, every single one of us, because we've all been wronged, hurt, done things to other people that we wish we could forgive ourselves for. Someday, in some way, every single one of us is going to be sitting in that old, squeaky, wooden, antique chair with that big bottle of poison sitting right next to us, just like I was. And just like Sarah was saying, we all have a choice in this life. And your choice is going to be, am I going to get up from that squeaky chair, leave that bottle there, forgive and move on with my life? Or am I going to take that bottle and am I going to keep taking sip after sip after sip until it destroys me from the inside?
Wow.
We all have a choice. What are you going to choose?
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Cliff. Thank you, Candice, Sarah, and Cliff for coming to the show. I written something. I'm going to quickly read it for us. Thank you for joining us in a discussion on forgiveness. As we explore forgiveness today, it's a powerful tool, as you have heard from Candice and from Sarah and from Cliff. And I believe if you cultivate self-love and mindfulness, you can set yourself free. And I know people say, but, if we leave the but, like Cliff said, and we go inside and set ourselves free, be selfish, set ourselves free, we can start living. And like Candice said, feel free to live her beautiful life. And Sarah, she could have held on to all this, but she decided her family was her purpose, her why. And when she was back on herself after nurturing by her family, she decided she's not going to keep a grudge. She's going to live. She's going to set her captivators free. How amazing. I love all your stories. Thank you for being brave to come and share it with us. So I am going to play out with my signature song. Jennifer Gerard have written it for me, and she also have sing it for me. I want to have, my forever song is Walking on Sunshine, but I cannot play it on here. So I want Walking on Sunshine, and I want Sparkles, and she brought everything in. So if you can give me one second, I'm going to quickly cue my music, and then we will dance out with this song. We will say goodbye at the end, but here is just a snippet of my beautiful song.
Dancing in the rain, sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun, sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover.
Wow, amazing, amazing. Candice, what do you think about my song?
I love it, man. I love it. It brings in your energy. It's all about Sunit. I love this song. It's a
Oh,
so Sunit song.
oh, thank you. And she brought in the children laughter in the beginning and the end. And it was so amazing because when I asked her to do the song, I was still in New Zealand with my grandchildren, and that was just amazing. Sarah, what do you think about my song, Cover the World with Love?
I think it's beautiful. Yes, in this world, no matter what we are going through, as long as we have love in our heart, we will make it. There will not be a war if we all embrace love. When we live in love together, it doesn't matter. We are not fighting with each other. So forgiveness is the opening to receive love. Without forgiveness, we don't have room for love.
I love it. Thank you so much, Sarah. And you, Cliff?
Yes. I love it. I think it completely ugh, I can't talk. It captures your spirit perfectly. It's so much fun just to watch you dance to that because that is so you. I love it. Perfect.
Well, thank you, Cliff. So I want to say thank you so much for coming to inspire us today. And your details is in the description on my YouTube channel as well as on E360 TV. So people will be able to come and follow you, and all your links I have also included there. So I want to say thank you so much for being here. And we actually have 2 more minutes. So Candice, how was it to be here? How did you feel being here? Okay, I cannot hear Candice.
Yeah.
Candice?
Oh, she's freezing.
Okay. So
Oh.
Sarah, how was the time on the show for you?
Oh, this is amazing. I love being here with you, and you guide us from getting out from darkness. Darkness that means unforgiveness, resentment, and bitter to light. Because when we forgive, we see the light, we see the love. So I love this show. Thank you.
Oh wow. Thank you, Sarah. And you, Cliff?
Oh, I love this, Annette. I always love being here and sharing time with you and with everybody else. So thank you very, very much for having me. And I am very excited to watch the playback because I hope anything I said made sense because my head is so fuzzy right now. I have no idea what I said. So I hope it all made sense.
You were amazing, Cliff. You were amazing. Thank you.
This
And
COVID is
Candice,
terrible.
so, good luck with the cold, Cliff, and may you be healthy soon.
Thank you.
Candice, thank you. Candice, you are back. You can tell us how was being here for you.
Sorry, yeah, guys. Technical issues here with our South African load shedding. I hope you can hear me now. Okay, great, great. I just wanted to say it's been fantastic. It is always fantastic to be on this show. I always have a smile on my face, and the inspiration that is shared amongst many stories of very great value, like this evening, has been an inspiration for me to just push on through with forgiveness. I loved Sarah's story, and Cliff, you're also such an inspiration. And this has been a very great journey this evening. And I'm sure that whoever watches this, we will really imprint and have them be inspired. And thank you, Sanet, for having me.
Oh, thank you so much, Candice. And then Giovanna said, thank you for sharing your inspirational stories, everyone. So it's now time for us to say goodbye. I want to say thank you so much for viewing, and thank you for all your comments that you have shared with us. May you find peace in your heart for forgiveness. You owe it to yourself. You are much more worth than what you think. Bye, everyone.